Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name's Sandra, and what I want you to do is just start off with a comfortable seat and close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to do a very peaceful, and I'm going to use the word detached, body scan. And what I mean by that is I want you to find the problem areas, but let's not get attached to them. We're just noticing where they are. And that might mean physical pain, physical tension. It might mean mental worry, stress, etc. Could be a spiritual dilemma you're having. So I just want you to tap into, can we just say one or two? And without bringing in the emotion that's associated with that. We're just finding them, because today's class is going to focus, as best I can help you, on pain management. So in order to make this successful, we kind of need to know where our pain is located. I hope that makes sense. So just scan through the body. And if you're lucky, you find no issues in the physical body. So then move to the mind. We're just looking for areas that really need our love and acknowledgement and enhancement, perhaps. And what I meant by spirituality is, I think often when something is going wrong, we have a tendency to start questioning our faith and our belief system. So, if that sounds like you, that might be where we're sending our focus for this class. And then go ahead and give me a deep inhale through the nose. Loud exhale. We're going to be using the breath a lot because it is our cheapest and most accessible tool that we have, right? Give me another deep breath in. Hold it. And let it go. Nice. Now take the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together. Release them home to the heart center. And pause here to set an intention for your practice and to send love to those areas you identified that are not quite healthy up to your standards. When you're ready, release the hands, softly open the eyes. Let's do a little bit of movement first so we can start tapping into some of the exercises I planned for you. So pop on over onto your hands and knees and table. Let's find cat-cow when you're ready. This is a great yoga transition anyway for pain in the body. You decide if you need to linger in one of those poses. You certainly don't have to keep up with what I'm doing. I might choose to stay in cat for a while. It feels great. So just playing around, noticing what feels better on the back, the low back especially. Could be shoulders and neck, so really let that head get heavy in cat pose. And then when you're ready, let's come back to table. Let's tuck the toes. Take this to a very slow dog. I want you to keep the knees slightly bent, so let's not get stressed about tightness in the legs. Soft bend. You can move around a little bit. You can walk this out. So dog is also a great go-to pose for physical pain in the body. Let me give you a caveat to that. Shoulders. Shoulders upper back might not be thrilled with the weight that you're sustaining in that pose. So if that sounds about right to you, come on down. If you're okay here, let's slowly see about, I don't know, will the legs straighten out a little bit more? Keep bicycling this. Nice. All right, come on back to table. We're going to walk the hands forward, keep the hips above the knees, and then just let the hands slide as you melt down towards the earth in puppy pose. And we're going to hang right here for a few. So, a couple things. If your forehead doesn't make it to the ground, as always, I want you to grab a prop so that your head is not hanging in midair. If there's anything about this pose you don't like, you can change it up. What I do like about this pose and why I've incorporated it specifically into this class is sometimes forward folds are very good for releasing pain more in the front of the body. It could be like abdomen, stomach, but for a lot of us, a standing forward fold or a seated forward fold might not be very comfortable. It might be tough on the back. And so puppy is a great way to find that same kind of movement in the front of the body. So I hope you like it. I just want you to relax and let go. And start to pay attention to the breath. I already said we're going to work with the breath quite a bit. So we need to know where it is at all times. Don't lose it. So while you're there, we're also going to chat a little bit about energy because you've heard me say this a lot. Metaphysical healers believe that physical pain manifests due to an imbalance in the energy body first. It's an imbalance that went unnoticed. And so pain is your body's way of saying, hey, over here, I need your attention. There's something going on. And if we know where the physical pain is, then we know which chakra it's associated with. And then we can start to research, okay, what is that chakra about, especially emotionally. Now, I came across this interesting quote by Karl Marx. He said, the only antidote to mental suffering is physical pain. Good quote, a little tough to swallow, right? The only antidote to mental suffering is physical pain. So he's saying kind of what I just said in a different way, but sometimes we don't want to deal with the emotional stuff. It's too hard. It in itself is too painful in a different way. And so it has to show up somewhere. And when we get a physical pain, a little easier to address because we can start tackling it with, does Motrin work? Does Tylenol work? I go to a doctor, he's going to tell me to ice it, or maybe heat works, or et cetera, et cetera. We start going down this path of trying to Band-Aid the symptom. And I would say oftentimes we forget that maybe that symptom is addressed to something energetic. And so I'm asking you to be a little vulnerable on your mat for this class to decide, has that physical pain, what are its ties to emotions? What are its ties to memories, to people? And let's give ourselves permission to allow that to be okay to bring up on the mat. And if you need to do it in a detached way to try to keep the emotion on the edges of your mat, that's okay. But let's see what we can figure out together, huh? So I left you there in puppy. Give me a deep inhale. Let it go. All we're going to do here is push our way gently back into embryo. So my hands are going to walk back. My hips are coming down on top of the heels. If you are using a prop for your forehead, drag it along with you so you can still use it. Arms are reaching back, palms open. Settle in. couple things here, because you know, in a class about pain management, we do not want to increase any pain. So if your knees do not like this pose, you could take your blanket and put that between the thighs and the calves. If it's still not good for the knees, just flip on over onto your back in Apanasana and hug the knees in. Definitely don't want any pain on the mat in this practice. We're trying to tackle that. Okay, so practicing ahimsa. Your hands are open. That's a gesture of receiving, because oftentimes for physical and mental or mental pain, we're hesitant to ask for help. We think we can handle it on our own. And I would like you to question on your mat, because it is part of the yoga practice, is that ego related? And I don't mean, is it ego in a condescending or accusatory or judgmental way? Ego kind of sometimes simply is, right? So are we open to receiving healing? And where does that come from? Are you open to healing, working with yourself, reaching out to somebody who might have more expertise? And then here's the tough question. Are you open to your physical pain disappearing? And it's a weird question, because some of us might have life lessons attached to that physical pain, and also we might be gaining something from that physical pain. So now I hear the questions flooding through my head. What on earth could I possibly be gaining, right, from my hip pain? Well, you know, maybe you're getting a little more attention from people around you, and you were lonely before. And that's a fair answer. I don't know what your answer is. You know, I'm working through some of my own hip and SI joint, issues. So I have started delving back through, okay, what emotions are attached to that chakra? And, where have I not been proactive in dealing with the energy? And so you got to get the self-judgment off, clear that away from you, so that we are open to whatever could come next. All right, hopefully you're happy in embryo and you're just wishing I'd stop talking, which I will for a moment. Find that breath. Give me a deep inhale. Big exhale. I'm going to slowly bring my hands forward so they can support me in coming back up into table. Let's go ahead and stretch that left leg out behind us, parallel to the earth. Hips are level. Stomach is slightly drawn upward. Push the ground away so you aren't caving into the shoulders. Perfect. All we're going to do here is just create a very simple vinyasa for the left hip. I'm just going to open that hip. I'm going to come onto the fingertips of the left hand. Nothing fancy here. And then I'm going to close it. Inhale, open the hip. You might not even need to come to the fingertips of the left hand. You might be able to stay all the way down. And exhale, close the hip. Give me two more. Perfect. And then go ahead and release that leg. Send the other one out. We're doing the same thing. First, set the alignment. Draw the stomach in. Make sure the hips are level. Foot behind you is flexed. Inhale. Open the right hip. Exhale it down. 3 more. Follow your breath. When you're done, release that knee back to table. Walk the hands back. Sitting on the heels for a moment, unless that's bothering your knees, then come on down off of the feet. Just reaching the hands out onto the knees. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, round it out. So seated cat-cow, which of course can be done without sitting on the heels. Slow this down, follow the breath. Every time you round out, I want you to feel you're relaxing the shoulders and the back of the neck. When you sit up, feel the lengthening, especially in the low back. All right, give me one more transition. And when you're sitting back up, give me a deep inhale. Loud exhale. And open your eyes, look around for that bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you could use a blanket. If you don't have a blanket, you can use the ground. All right. So let's go ahead and sit with that bolster touching the sacrum. Grab your blocks if you have them. Again, if you don't, pillows would suffice. If you have nothing, that's okay. We're coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, so soles of the feet together, knees are wide. And then I'm going to slowly lay back. If you aren't using your blanket and you have one, you might want to cover up with it or use it as a pillow. So I leave that up to you. Mine's in such a nice folded manner there. Okay, lay back. Now, I need you to make sure this is okay with the low back being here. So first of all, if it's not, I want you to slowly round your way, come back up, move the bolster about a fist width away from your sacrum and try that, because now that gives the low back some space to kind of sink into. If that does not feel better and you really don't want to be in kind of a back bend like this, round your way, come back up and get rid of the bolster. We can use it as a pillow instead. So I leave that up to you. Again, when you get comfortable, if you could leave the palms open in that gesture of receiving, I think that would be beneficial. And take your focus right to the breath. Keep the eyes closed. And I initially just want you to notice the breath at the nostrils. So stay right there with your focus. Feel the difference between the inhale and the exhale. Notice the temperature of the breath. If the mind wanders off or you find yourself focusing on the breath somewhere else, just gently pull it back to the nose. If you want to, you could stretch the arms overhead. If your shoulders do not like that, don't do that. I have to insist that you do not find new ways to incur pain in this practice. And you could, if you want to, interlace the fingers, take them behind the head, and let the elbows fall open, just like the knees are. Again, if that doesn't feel right to you, or gravity's pulling down too far on the elbows, just re-release the arms. Okay, come back to the breath. And I want you to take your focus to your abdomen and only notice the breath rising and falling down in the stomach area, down below the navel. Keep going with that focus. If you have the hands tucked under the head, let's release the arms. Keep following the breath in the abdomen. And then let that go for a moment. I want you to think about which was easier and which did you prefer, focusing on the breath at the nose or focusing on the abdomen. So we're going to start building a personal toolbox for ourselves so we have a go-to that can help relieve pain when we are experiencing it. So far, we just have 2 focuses on the breath. I've asked you to pick which one you liked better, so move that to the top of your list. In the meantime, I want to switch up the legs for a moment. So if you can just slowly lift your head, get your elbows underneath you, I think that would be easier. I'm going to take the left leg on the bottom. We're coming into double pigeon. However, even if you're super flexible and this right knee can fall to the bottom foot, I want you to use a prop. So get a block between the right knee and the bottom ankle, and then lay back down. Okay, so a couple of things here. What if the block is not tall enough to support that top knee? What if it doesn't come down low enough? Then I might ask you then to move the right foot to the ground in front of the left shin. I don't want you to be in any pain. Additionally, what I want you to notice, and I'm just noticing this because like I already mentioned, I've been having hip and sacrum issues. This is putting a little bit of pressure on my left hip because my weight is there. So I'm going to shift. No pain in this practice. If you need to change this up, please do. So find what's going to work for you. Close your eyes. We're going to refocus on the breath, but this time I want you to take your focus to the ribs so that you're following the movement of the rib cage along with the breath. So what this reminds me of is like a billows. And so I'm kind of picturing, as I inhale, I'm filling up with healing breath. And then as I exhale, I'm squeezing everything out of my body that is contributing to whatever type of pain I'm experiencing. So see if that helps. And then when you're ready, we're going to switch the legs. So if you need to slowly come back up to perch on the elbows, that'll help you get the block that you're using and move it to the other side. So right leg on the bottom. I'm just going to test out this pose on the right side for me, and you figure out what works for you. And then when you're ready, lay back down, close the eyes, come back to the breath. We're changing it up again. But first, we've now focused on the breath in 3 places. And possibly you liked that last one better. So I need you to put them in the order that are working best for you. And now what we're going to do is I want you to follow the path of the breath. So we're starting at the nose. And as you inhale, I want you to follow the breath all the way down into the lungs. So obviously it's going to move from the top lungs and work its way down into the abdomen. And then I want you to follow it all the way back out through the nose. And what you might also notice here that, I don't know, might be more comfortable for you to focus on. So I'm really giving you 2 options, I guess. Is when you inhale, do you feel how the diaphragm moves down, and how you exhale, the diaphragm moves back up? So that might be where your focus is as well. Okay, one more breath with this technique. And then you can stay back if you can reach that block that's holding up the leg if you're using one. Otherwise, slowly come back up so we can get that block out. We're going to straighten out the legs. And you might have noticed I slipped a block under my head for a pillow. You can do whatever you want to. Perfect. Stretch, point through the toes, reach the arms overhead. And then bring the arms back down, palms open. Open out the legs to the edges of your mat. Turn the toes in towards each other. And then let them gently sweep open. Relax right here as though you might be headed towards Shavasana. Go back to the breath. So this time, what I want you to do is I want you to give your breath a color. And I want you to see yourself, we're again following the path of the breath. So from the nose all the way down, and then exhale back up and out through the nose. But I want you to visualize a color this time. So seeing that color sweep in, come all the way down, fill the lungs to capacity, exhale the color back out. All right, try that. Follow that breath one more time, and then let's let go of the pranayama. I want you to choose the 2 techniques that worked best for you. You can kind of let the others dissipate. Pick the 2 you like best. Imagine you're putting them in your toolbox. I kind of prefer, I know these are outdated, but maybe you put them in your fanny pack so they're always with you and close by. And then we're going to go ahead and plant the feet on the mat. I'm slowly going to start to lift the head, get my elbows underneath me. I just want to pause here, pulling the chin down toward the collarbone. It's kind of as though we're just pausing to let that back bend kind of reset the spine. So we're letting the low back round out into the base of the bolster. And when you feel like you're ready to move, go ahead and get your hands underneath you and just gently use the arms to do this. Push your way back up. Perfect. I need to move the props that are behind me. Let's get that bolster out of the way. Actually, you know what? Let's bring the bolster to the right side. Have a block on top of it in case you want it. And then let's go ahead and roll back gently, Apanasana. Hug the knees in. You might want to rock it out. So a lot of the yoga poses for pain, of course, are going to be dependent on what your issue is. So I really need you to kind of doctor each pose the way you see fit. So twists, subtle twists, are good for second and third chakra issues. So that would incorporate front and back, but I need you to pay attention to the back if that's your issue. All we're going to do is I want you to bring the knees over the hips. I have my calves at the moment, they're parallel to the floor. Pull the low back down. Now, you can glance to your right to see where your props are. I want the legs to land on your props. So notice we didn't pull the knees all the way in and take the twist. If that's okay with you and that's what you want to do, go ahead. I was kind of being conservative here by not pulling the knees in. So see what works for you. Align the props so your legs are comfortable. And I'm going to have you just rest your hands on your belly so we can still feel the breath. Okay, while you're there, I'm going to give you a new challenge with the breath. I want you to, you're going to inhale deeply, but I don't want you to associate any control with the inhale. I want you to exhale to the count of 7, which truly is going to be a different count of 7 for each, excuse me, each one of us, right? You'll know what to do. And then once you have said 7 in your mind and you have finished that exhale, I want you to hold the breath to the count of 3. The inhale then will again happen naturally. Exhale, count of 7, hold for 3. Go ahead. Let's make this the last one. And the breath just returns to normal. Slowly pull the knees back up over the hips, low back down. Pause here. And then set the feet down on the mat. And you could do one at a time if you are having back issues. Let's move the props to the left side. When you're ready, bring the legs back up, knees over the hips. And then look at where your props are so you know where to land. We're going to slowly drop the legs, move the props however you need them. When you're ready, hands are back on the abdomen. So on this side, sometimes, for instance, if you liked that pranayama we just did on the right side, later down the road, you might kind of remember you liked that one, but you don't remember exactly what we did, and there were numbers involved, but what the heck were they? And well, I guess I can't do it now because I don't remember, and I'm gonna have to go look it up. So don't want you in that boat. That isn't true. The numbers are random. So on this side, I want you to be in control of the numbers. I want you to allow them to be what you want them to be, what you need them to be. If you want to hold longer than the count of 3, you do that. You just make it what it needs to be for you, and that's what you're going to put in your fanny pack / toolbox when we're done with this side. Go ahead. Give me 2 more cycles of that breath. When you're ready, slowly bring the knees back up. Set the feet down on the mat. Pull the low back down, hold for a moment. And then just relax. So if you saw me kind of looking around, I was looking for my yoga strap and then I remembered this is so awful. I put all my yoga straps in my car because I thought I was going to have to tie something to the roof of my car and I didn't have rope. So if you don't have a yoga strap, this is going to still work for you. I need you to grab your strap if you didn't put it in the car to tie something to your roof, and grab a block. Okay. So coming back down, and I'm going to show you another variation. We're going to do legs up the wall without using a wall, but if you do have a wall right next to you, you can go ahead and use it. I was going to have you also put the hips up on a block. So I'm going to show you the strap variation first, and then if you have a wall next to you and you think that's what you want to do, I'll show you how to get into that pose. So on the ground, knees bent, lift your hips, slide that block under your hips, lowest height. Hang on to that block for a moment, pull one knee in, then the other, and then you can do a little wiggling to find your balance. Here's where you're going to get the strap around both feet, again, if it's not sitting in your car, and then stretch your legs all the way up. So you're going to hang out right here. If you don't have a wall and you don't have a strap, you can just do this pose without the strap, unless it's really hard for you to hold your legs at 90 degrees here. You could use the hands behind the thighs if that helps. If you do have a wall, I'm going to just set my block there. Coming the legs up the wall first, just rolling into a hip, get the legs up, and from here I can set the feet on the wall, lift my hips, and get that block underneath. So completely up to you. We are going to work on the breath in this pose, so make sure you are comfortable. We're switching to Ujjayi breath here. So remember, Ujjayi means victory, and this whole theme is kind of about being victorious over the pain that you're experiencing is what I meant to say. We don't want to get into the thought process of, I'm going to fight this. I think that brings up the wrong type of energy. So victory instead, just a win-win in acknowledging where the pain is physically, mentally, spiritually. So close your eyes. I want you to take the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth and keep it there. Now, deep inhale. Keep your mouth closed. Big exhale. Just having the tongue up against the roof of the mouth is going to allow you to feel a constriction in the throat with this breath. Keep going. Keep going. I promise I'll stop talking in 1 second. I thought of one more thing I wanted to add. As you're focusing on the breath, if for some reason you don't like being upside down, because you are with that block under the hips, slide the block out or come out of the pose. After your next exhale, just let go. Perfect. So depending on which variation of that pose you ended up in, where I want us all to end up together is in a fetal position on one side. So take your time. Obviously, you're going to need to lift the hips, slide your block out. And if you're using the wall, you're going to bend the knees in first. So just maneuver your way into a fetal position. And I'll give you time to get there. Edmund, I'm not going to say this last name right, Mibiaka, wrote, positive self-talk is to emotional pain as a pain pill is to physical pain. So positive self-talk. That's why we're going to use the word victory instead of, I'm going to fight. Victory doesn't necessarily mean we overcame somebody. It can be a win-win situation. So it's an acknowledgement of what's going on in the energy body. When you're ready, go ahead and gently push your way back up. So breath work is not the only technique we can use. The yoga poses are not the only technique we can use. I want you to grab your props and set up for Shavasana. And we'll find a couple other things we can add to our blinged out fanny pack. I know you're all picturing rainbow colors, crystals, right? Perfect. All right, so hopefully you are getting into position. You have figured out what props you want to use. You're starting to get comfortable and warm, I hope. Wiggle around a little bit. Make sure every part of the body is happy, especially in this theme, right? And then close your eyes. I want you to take your focus to whatever you found when we did our original body scan, whatever was distressing to you. So again, if it's a physical pain, just take your focus right there. If it's something bothering you emotionally, mentally, I would like you to take your focus to that without the emotion attached, because my intention is not to upset you. It's to deliver some love to that situation or that body part. So take your attention there to offer love to the pain, be it energetic, physical, spiritual. So this might sound something in your head like, I send love to my hips and my sacrum. Well, that's for me. And I acknowledge the pain. I acknowledge that the body is trying to tell me something. I am receptive to learning and understanding what that message might be. And then just leave that body part or that memory, emotional pain, whatever it is, just set it aside. We're not ignoring it. We are not pushing it away. Just set it aside for a moment. Now, we're going to do some progressive relaxation through the body. So I want to start at the crown of the head. So the closest we can get to the crown there is bringing the eyebrows all the way up on the forehead. And we've done this many times. This is such a great way to relax the body. Exhale, let it go. I want you to smile really hard. I want you to really pull back the muscles in the cheeks. And then let go, soften. In fact, you might kind of purse the lips a little bit to relax the muscles in the cheeks further, and then melt. Soften the eyes. Good job. Bring the shoulders up toward the ears. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Oh, let go. I want you to lift that right arm off the floor, make a fist, strengthen that arm. When you get to an exhale, relax the arm back down to the earth, let the hand open back into a gesture of receiving. Now the left arm. Let it go. Keeping the body soft and peaceful, pull the stomach in toward the base of the spine. Hold it, keep breathing. Next exhale, let that go. Perfect. This might depend a little bit on how you've perched yourself for Shavasana, but if you can lift the right leg up and flex or point through the foot, do that. Big inhale. Exhale, relax the leg. Same thing on the left side. And let it go. I want you to feel peaceful, relaxed. I want you to feel that you're kind of in a mutual partnership with the pain that we set aside. So again, I'm not trying to tune it out. We're trying to be present with it and offer it love. And so, keeping your eyes closed, what I want you to imagine is, let's put ourselves out near a stream of some type. Nothing is big and powerful, as a river. I want water involved, and I want there to be some movement, and I want you to be at peace wherever you are. So as you get closer to that water, first what I want you to notice is that it's crystal clear, and that the sun is just sparkling on the surface of the water. And so your eyes keep catching little glimmers of light. And allow that to be kind of hypnotic. So even more relaxing. But I also want you to notice that looking down at the water, although it's clear, there seems to be something different about this water. There's something different. Bend down and get a little closer. I want you to start to notice that there's almost a vibration from this stream of water. And I want you to reach down and dip your fingers into it. And what you're going to notice is that the water, it feels healing. And so the fingers, if I can say that the fingers feel like they're at optimum health, they just feel amazing. I want you to imagine, especially if your fingers are not what are hurting you, how this is going to feel on the rest of the body, how this is going to feel on the mind. So go ahead and use that hand to scoop up a handful of water. And as you do, I want you to notice when the water leaves the stream, it turns to having a gold hue in your hand. So now I can see little drips of gold water coming out between my fingers, dropping down back into the stream. And there's a small pool of this beautiful healing water in my hand. I want you to take that water and just rub it on the opposite arm. Sorry, I didn't tell you which hand to reach down with. So the opposite arm, just rub it on that arm so that you kind of see this glimmery gold on your arm until that water dries in the sun and that gold kind of disappears, but you can feel the healing energy of it seeping into your skin. I want you to imagine that you can notice the difference between the way the hand that held the water and the arm that received the water feel compared to the rest of the body. This is going to feel amazing. Reach down, scoop up another handful of water. And I want you to take that water to your forehead and, just let the droplets trickle down your face, little gold droplets of healing and love and light. You might lift your gaze to the sun. The sun dries the water and there's simply peace. This is going to be great if your pain was emotionally attached, right? So I want you to continue. I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes, but I'm not done with our journey on our guided meditation. But I want you to allow yourself to scoop up that water, covering the entire body. I frankly don't care if you want to jump into the stream and roll around to do it. It's your vision. It's up to you. I really want you to also focus heavily on where the pain is coming from. If it's emotional and it's heart attached, really drench that heart chakra in this water. If it's physical, that's easy. If it's in your head, you might just lay back in that water or lay on the bank and let your head drop in. Whatever you need to do, cover the whole body, mind, and spirit. I'll add on to our journey in a moment. When you have fully covered the entire body, I want you to reach down again, scoop up a handful of that water, and go ahead and drink that gold water. And as you do, just feel healing sliding down the throat, moving throughout the inside of the body. You feel strong, healthy, peaceful, relaxed, relaxed, relaxed. You let everything go. And tapping in more towards the energy body and assuming for a moment, believing that physical pain comes from emotional or energy pain or imbalances first. I want you to think about asking the question, not why does my hip hurt, what's wrong with me, but what is my mind trying to tell me? What is my higher self trying to tell me? What's the message? I want you to just lay there quietly and be receptive to that message coming right to you. I want to go back to the Karl Marx quote where he said the only antidote to mental suffering is physical pain. I want you to think about what would happen if your physical pain did not exist. What then would your mind be focused on? If we assume the physical pain is a distraction from something emotional, mental, energetic, then I also need you to associate that with being able and willing to tap into your inner truth. So what comes up for you? Can we acknowledge it? Can we send it love? Can we let it go? And then I want you to take a deep breath in. Loud exhale. So don't misunderstand. I am not saying that some imbalance in the energy body or emotional issue is creating fake physical pain. That physical pain is completely real. I don't want you to get frustrated with me in Shavasana or think that this is just all illusory. For sure the physical pain is there, but I'm suggesting that perhaps we acknowledge it with love instead of with trying to fight it, and see if something else might come up that we can work with. Give me another deep breath in. Let it go. Invite some movement back into the hands and the feet. Keep your eyes closed. Just gently roll over onto a side. Connect with the breath. And when you're ready, gently push your way back up. Keep the eyes closed. We're going to draw the shoulders up toward the ears. Hold it. Wait for your exhale to let go. We're going to inhale the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together. Hold, wait for it, wait for it. Side bend to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Now exhale the hands to the heart. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me, and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.